So who were the mentors that you had in graduate school who made a big influence on you?
So my thesis advisor, Dick Kieberts, who is the individual who had come here to Stanford and switched from a double E to CS. And then I had a co-advisor, Dave Smith, who was a Brit by background. He was more hardware. Kieberts was more on software. But the thing that happened that was really fortunate is I was probably 3 or 4 months into my PhD thesis, and where a scientist who was working at Brookhaven National Lab came in with a problem. And his problem was he needed to do bone density measurements on people who were working in the labs to see if they had been detected radiation. And what he'd like is a computer system that would use low dosage radiation and control these machines just right and real-time control. And there was nothing out there. Microprocessors were just beginning, but there was no software for these things.
We're talking now about early
We're talking
70s?
at 1974, 75, 76. No software for these things. So they said, well, why don't you think about building a system to do this kind of thing, to do these kinds of real-time control things, and maybe a language to help people who are programming these kinds of laboratory control and other kinds of instrument control applications. So turned out it was a great problem to work on. I made a lot of progress on it. But what happened that was really tremendous was 2 of the major leaders in the field, just as I'm finishing my thesis up, just as I published my first paper, 2 of the major leaders in the field declared this is the area they're working in and submit papers in the area. So the area kind of exploded just as I was doing my work. And of course, this was the early days of the microprocessor, but it was going to reshape the entire computer industry.
For the layman's benefit, what's the name of the area?
Real-time control.
Okay.
So, and it's real-time meaning you've got to control typically some physical instruments or respond to something, and you have hard limits on how long it can take before you actually respond to that information.
And this is a software issue.
Yeah, software with hardware. The software has to integrate with the hardware because they've got to work together. But yeah, it's a software solution to the problem.